Of course, being at the IDF and leveraging those kinds of attack verticals with non-human identity. So I was on the other side. I can think as an attacker. I know what they are looking for in order to penetrate an environment and breach an environment. And that's exactly the knowledge that we're using over here at Entro in order to prevent such cases.
Welcome back to another installment of the Next Gen Case Study Series. On this episode today, we have Itzik Alvas, who is the co-founder and CEO of Entro Security, a pioneering company in non-human identity and secret security management. With a background that includes serving in the elite cybersecurity unit of the IDF and holding senior security positions at Microsoft, Itzik has led Entro to develop cutting-edge solutions that address the critical issues of securing digital secrets and non-human identities, which is why we're excited to welcome him to the program. Itzik, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Devon.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm excited for this conversation because I think that there's a lot of experience that you have that is going to be useful to our audience. To start things off, I'd love to get kind of a quick history of kind of who you are, where you came from, and how you found yourself as the co-founder and CEO of Entro Security.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Itzik Alvas. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Entro. Entro Security, as mentioned, helps security teams to fully automate and protect non-human identities lifecycle and secure secrets. So I started my cybersecurity journey back at the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. I was on the offensive side of cyber. But then going into the public market, worked on the defensive side. So prior to my role at Entro, I was in charge for the internal security of one of Microsoft's clouds. Prior to that, I was a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer at an healthcare organization. And basically, I was breached a few times via non-human identity, which are basically service accounts, API keys, connection string. Those are the credentials that applications are using in order to access and authenticate against services they need, like databases or storage or so forth. So at Microsoft, we were breached twice using an exposed secret. And yeah, I started to think about how can we mitigate those problems going forward. I couldn't find any solution out there. So I joined forces with a friend of mine, Adam Shriki. I knew him from the army, and that's how Entro came to be.
Wow, that's a exciting story coming from the actual experience of being on a team where unwanted scenario plays out and you get to have firsthand experience on what that's like, and then that contributing to your ability now to have some foresight and look for solutions to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. That's really, really powerful as a kind of a purpose behind the work that you're doing. And I think that's super exciting. So kind of walk me through some of what your kind of main responsibilities or day-to-day tasks are now that you're kind of in full swing with Entro.
Yeah, being a CEO, you're responsible for everything within the company. So of course, the product roadmap, the go-to-market, the R&D side, pretty much everything, the board, competition out there, pretty much everything. I am blessed because I have a great team. My co-founder, Adam Shriki, is leading all of the product and R&D side. It's based in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and then the go-to-market are based in the States, at Massachusetts, Boston. But yeah, basically, that's a lot of work, for sure. When we started, we pioneered the non-human identity verticals. There's a lot of solutions out there, but we are the first platform that fully protect and automate the lifecycle of non-human identities. So when we started, it was mostly around educating the market, finding the right solutions for the different problems. But now it's mostly around, positioning, the right messaging, and making sure that everybody knows we are the best platform out there.
I wonder, and I'd be curious if you'd share with us how some of those early experiences with Microsoft and IDF, how that kind of shaped your approach to the work that you're doing now.
It shaped a lot of what I'm doing now. So again, at Microsoft, I was breached twice, and with no solution out there, we needed to build our own. So that basically shaped everything we're doing now, the experiences of the breaches over there. Of course, being at the IDF and leveraging those kinds of attack verticals with non-human identity. So I was on the other side. I can think as an attacker. I know what they are looking for in order to penetrate an environment and breach an environment. And that's exactly the knowledge that we're using over here at Entro in order to prevent such cases. So non-human identities are currently the second most frequent attack vector out there, and the number one most costly attack to an organization. And again, I was blessed with a great team. A lot of them also served in the same unit that I had in the army. So we have a lot of industry knowledge how to prevent those, and that's why we're currently the global leader in the non-human identity space.
When I was looking into the work that you're doing and some of the businesses that you're serving, I noticed one thing that kind of stood out to me, which is a lot of the businesses that you work with are pretty big. There's a lot going on. There are many players in each of them that play a role in the decision-making process in implementing, your technologies or your solutions. I'm
Right.
curious if you kind of walk me through what um, the experience would be like for a business like that to kind of like find you and then work with you and continue to kind of be inside of your ecosystem.
Right. Yes, you are correct. We are selling to large enterprises, from small enterprises to huge ones. We have customers from Fortune 100 and so forth. So yes, there's a lot of people over there with decision powers or some kind of interest in what we're doing, and educating all of them and solving all of their problems is a challenge from one end, but on the other end, it helps us to improve our product and improve our offering, because if they are asking for more features or something that we've missed, then we can go ahead and build that, and that will probably um, extend our platform and be of value to other organizations. To reach that audience, it's not always easy. Again, we did pick the great vertical because, again, that's the second most frequent attack vector out there. So organizations are actively looking for solutions in this space, and being the first one and the most mature company with the most comprehensive platform out there, that's for sure helpful. We have the biggest number of customers, so a lot of references. But yeah, in terms of lead generation, events is great for us, SDR, and then inbound as well, because again, customers are actively searching for solutions in this space.
Right. Yeah. So you have a pretty steady inbound flow of people who are kind of curious about the solutions and that serves it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good problem to have, but it might pose a bit of a challenge in terms of kind of managing these relationships. How do you guys measure your performance in how you are working with these relationships and kind of developing things? Because it's such an arbitrary thing, right? Like I get the black and white of it, not a customer, now a customer. Like that's an easy metric to
Right.
measure, but all of the small details in between that, I wonder if you could share some of your insight in terms of how you guys are measuring that success.
Right, that's a great question. I mean, how can you measure a relationship, right? I feel that like most of us are practitioners that are selling to practitioners. We had that problem before. we're actually building the solution, the platform that we wanted to use. So I feel like it's easier for us to keep those relationships because, again, we are practitioners that are dealing with other practitioners in the same space. How are we measuring it? That's a great question. For me, everything is a funnel. Like you're starting with 10,000 leads, and only 500 of those are starting a POC, and only 200 are being finishing the funnel and being a customer. But measuring, I assume measuring the relationship is how many meetings do you guys have? How much time is spending with one another? Like there's summits out there. Black Hat is fast approaching. We're meeting a lot of people over there. I assume that's a great way to measure relationship if they spend time with you or not. And again, I think it's easier for us because we came from the same background.
Right. Yeah. Creating a solution that you needed made it possible for you to help other people who need that solution, and that's really useful as a strategy to kind of understand your customer is understanding yourself, and then using that information to attract the right people is really powerful. So, um, when it comes to managing all of these relationships and keeping everything kind of organized, is there any types of tools and technologies that you're using that help keep that in line, or is this more of a like personal relationships, one-on-one kind of individual management scenario?
I think a little bit of both. Some of them are mostly personal relationships, and some of them, are more straightforward business.
Right.
We are using, of course, CRM in order to keep track of everything. I'm a data guy. I love data. So of course we're using a lot of different tools to store all of the leads that we're talking with. What have we said? What did they say? What are the problems? If they have a project, if so, when? And basically everything that we can. And then we're using the data in order to forecast what will happen next quarter and the quarter after that, and so forth. So how many customers or prospects said they will have a project coming up in the next quarter, and then that's the project that we will compete in, and how many of those will result in customers and so forth. So we became pretty good at forecasting stuff, but that's basically because we're keeping all of the data we can, and using it in order to develop some sort of a forecasting algorithm. Having said that, again, I do have a lot of friends in the industry, and a lot of those are personal relationships and not, another line or another row in my CRM.
Being that the way that you're building the business is on the back of these personal relationships, I wonder if is room for new technologies like AI and automations and things like that inside of the sales process. Is that something that you guys are leveraging, or are you staying a little bit more human centric in your approach to sales and marketing?
I think AI is very helpful in terms of marketing and sales. I think like the main capabilities of AI is taking a lot of data and spit out, a conclusion. It can be sometimes the wrong conclusion, but still like taking a huge portion of data and spitting out and conclusion. And I think it's great for both marketing and sales. You do need to review that manually. But yes, of course, we are using that. Also, I think in terms of marketing and content writing and so forth, AI is very, very helpful.
So, could you share with us maybe some recent challenges that you've overcome, or wins in the business that because just the space is so unique. I wonder if there's something in that experience that maybe we can extract value from?
Yeah, I mean, we're winning deals against the competition every other week. I think I think we're doing that again because we're the most mature company with the most number of logos and customers. So we we believe in fast feedback loop. That means that because we have a big number of customers, we can extract feedback on our product from them and understand what else they need, what we can improve, and we're implementing it quite rapidly. And then we're using it in order to better our solution, better our platform, create new features, and then using that in order to win more deals. So I think that's I'm not sure if it's unique for us, but I think that's a great approach to go about it. If you need to, you know, perform better than others, just use your customers because they will tell you what they need. And then you can go ahead and replicate that to other customers as well. I think that's the main approach that we're using. And of course, having, invented everything in the space. So that's pretty powerful and helping us a lot. But definitely customer feedbacks. I mean, we are leaning heavily on that.
Yeah, the feedback loop is such a powerful tool to um, keep an open channel of communication that is both candid and useful in the development of the tools and the solutions and things that you're providing um, for your client base. When it
And
comes to
that's a win-win approach because our customers are getting a better, you know, getting answers to what they need, then we're getting a better platform to sell to other customers.
right, so when it comes to like managing that data, what's your approach to leveraging it in a way that is going to be useful for the development of products, solutions, services, business, all that kind of stuff?
Right, we're keeping scores on everything. So the easiest one is like 80% of our customers ask for the same feature. Of course, we're gonna build it, right? If only one of them asks for it, then we will take it internally, try to figure out if it's something that is needed, maybe reach out to our customers, reach out to prospect and say, hey, if we add that, would you use that? And if so, for what? And what problem will it solve? And so forth. And then maybe add it to the roadmap. And sometimes we are not adding it to the roadmap. But basically, we have a scoring mechanism at our product. And every new request or every new idea is being scored, and according to that scoring, it will be developed or not.
Yeah, that's really powerful to be able to take the information and actually tangibly use it in a way that benefits everybody. Um, when it comes to take like implementing, because I get that the technology itself is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
The availability of tools and things kind of coming down the pipeline are always changing, adapting, and what have you. What's your approach to filtering through the noise to find useful stuff? Do you do everything in-house or do you look for partnerships external to kind of help augment your efforts?
We have a lot of partnerships out there. We love better together. I believe it. I believe that if we're developing best of breed non-human identity security and another company is developing best of breed automation, we can work together in order to fully automate remediation. So we can find the risk and then we can use them in order to automate the remediation to remediate that risk, and so forth. So we have a lot of partnerships out there. And yes, I'm a true believer in better together. That's on the product side, but then there's also the go-to-market side, channels, resellers, VARs, GSIs. Yeah, I mean, if it's a win-win, then we should do it.
Yeah, that's uncommon to find someone so open to collaboration and building new things and finding ways to continue to serve, which is probably attributing to a lot of your success. Um, as things continue to evolve, I wonder, it's like if you could share perhaps some of the things that you're looking forward to. What are some of the goals that you and Entro are working towards, and what are you kind of excited that's on the horizon for the business?
Right. So we're currently solving one of the biggest pain points in the cyber industry. And that's a huge, huge market. And there's a lot to do. So yes, we're leading that market, but still there's a lot to do over there.
Hmm.
Um, Currently, we are able to discover, enrich, find risks, alert on them, abnormal behaviors for non-human identities, remediation, and a lot more. But still, there's a lot to be done in order to fully secure and manage non-human identities, and we're doing that. There's a lot to do over there. The market is huge, and that's our focus area for at least the upcoming few years. So yeah, I can go into details. I'm not sure you want me to go into details, but we're gonna stay in the non-human identity market for a while.
Yeah, that's good that there's an abundance of opportunity in the space, which means there's room for innovation and more opportunity to create solutions, and especially in a day and age where this stuff happens so quickly that we just it's hard to keep a finger on the pulse of the whole thing. So admirable that that's part of the work that you're doing.
Just to extend on that, like Gartner, one of the best analysts in the world, just released a report stating that for every human employee, there's at least 45 non-human identities. We're seeing at our customer base 92. So for every employee you have, you will probably have 92 service accounts, API keys, programmatic access keys. That's something that organizations are unable to handle without a proper platform in place. And when you think about it, like how many human security tools, human user security tools do you have, and how many non-human identities security tools you have within your organization. So yes, the opportunity is amazing over there.
Yeah, that's really powerful. We're kind of coming to the end of our time here together, and I'm very grateful for the wisdom and insight that you've shared with us, Itzik. So thank you for that. On that note, to kind of wrap things up here, I wonder if there's a piece of advice that you could offer somebody who's in a similar position to you, who's facing similar challenges. What's one piece of advice that you would offer to help them kind of, stay in the game, overcome the challenges, and really prosper on the other side?
So a few ones. First of all, validate everything you're doing with your customer base. Like, don't build something your customers don't want you to build. Always ask for feedback and understand what they want. So that's maybe the first one. The second one is always hire the best. Like, if you need to pay a bit extra for salary, do it. Always hire the best because your team is actually the one who's gonna build everything you're dreaming of building. So maybe those two, follow those two, and you'll be all right, sure.
Very sound advice. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, Itzik, to pick your brain further or perhaps work with you, how would one go about doing that?
Yeah, multiple ways. You can look me up at LinkedIn, Itzik Alvas, or go into Entro Security website, the ENTRO Security. Just look it up at Google, and you can book an appointment with me over there as well.
Beautiful. Okay. I'll make sure to link to all that stuff in the show notes. And if you wanted to get in touch with us and our team for any reason, for anybody that's watching and listening, you can visit nextgengrowth.com. Otherwise, that's it for this episode, and I will see you in the next.